Now, I'd be lying if I didn't say that as a youth, considering the whole thing with being transgender, because I thought about it for a long time, and, it kind of mauled in my mind for, years, basically. I'd have to say that a big part of it was jealousy. Jealousy for, as a man, as men in society, we're lied to, and we are deceived, and we are expected to conform to a role. And I see it in all men all the time, how if they don't, completely succeed in their envisioning of what a man has to be, well, then they're a pussy, which is really destructive because, I don't think that that's a cool thing for people to be considering the vulva area to be a term that is used for, it's like calling someone gay when they're not gay and using that as like a negative thing. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to get like majorly offended and be like, you need to be punished for this, but use it in context, I guess, or something. But I don't know, that's kind of a hard thing to say. But it does have an effect, is what I'm saying, though. Like, it does, when you call people that, it can tear people up, and it can really have a big effect on them because you're emasculating them. And men in our society are so sensitive to their masculinity being, to being infringed upon, being considered non-masculine, that, they do these leaps and these bounds for that, to the outside observer are, seem completely insane, but nevertheless they do them, and that's, accepted in our society. Everything from men raping women as an extreme to the more shallower acts of just average sexism, expecting women to clean up things and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not really that great when it comes to those specific examples. I don't think about them anymore. But I was steeped in inversions, and I was completely misinformed and misled. So, operating out of that information, I came to conclusions, and I thought they were right, but obviously they were incorrect because the information that I was working off of was wrong. But nevertheless, when it comes to femininity and masculinity, I deeply desire to. I was really jealous of all the qualities that women had. Everything from the way that women are treated and how that respect is there and stuff like that. I'm kind of a pacifist. I really don't like violence. I don't like fighting. And so when I'm hanging out with all my guy friends and they just want to fight and wrestle and be physical or talk about fighting and wrestling and being physical, or later on it was girls and stuff, but in a very possessive and objectified manner, and I didn't like that either. So, and I was also having all of these sexual fetishes that I was dealing with. I enjoyed submissiveness and BDSM. So, things were in my life, they were positioned, the puzzle piece kind of fit itself together in such a way that the picture that painted in my mind, I don't know, it's hard to talk about, it's hard to really discuss, and especially because I'm coming at this from my perspective now, and my perspective now is that transgenderism isn't a solution. It isn't anything that we should ever be considering, and the fact that it is an option is a problem. That it's something to be considered. It's really not a solution, and it isn't going to have the desired effect that you want it to have. Because I lived as a woman for 4 years completely successfully. I was I mean, I didn't really wear makeup every day. I didn't really go out of my way. I tried to be that more natural woman kind of a thing. But just, you know, whatever that means, just, I don't know. I mean, it worked because everyone around me saw me as a female. And I used that freedom to learn how to express myself. But I could have done that. I could have done all of that in this body right now, and that's what I'm doing. When I detransitioned, nothing changed about me. Really, nothing changed at all. I did everything the same way. I talked to people the same way. I didn't do anything differently. I just stopped taking hormones and let nature take its course, and everything's fine. Because I had already learned how to talk to people and how to communicate, and that stuff transcends gender. You don't, you know, it's not gender dependent. How to coexist and love everyone and have, you know, good intentions. You don't need to be a man or a woman to have that, and that's kind of what I thought, I guess. I don't know. Looking back on it now, I'm realizing that, you know, I just had such a passion that I thought I was right about it, and I had such a kind of a destiny about myself with it that I just had to prove almost something. And then now that I'm looking back on it, I realize that I'm proving, at least to myself, and now I'm trying to show kind of how the logic works and how the thought process works or whatever, of how I got to these conclusions. But either way, the best way to say it is, you know, my transgenderism was steeped in a lot of negative emotions and a lot of bad stuff. Love and wholeness. I'll continue this later.